up, everybody? This is Keith. I go back Get a Guy 231 across the DFS industry. We're back for the Friday's 3-game slate. It's a good-looking slate. Hope everybody did well to me. If you paid attention to the video yesterday and just followed my core and my recommendations, I think you probably did quite well. Seems like I highlighted almost everybody that scored or did very well. We had Dumfries in there, Depay, Yarmolenko in the core. Munir almost got a long empty net goal. For me, I woke up this morning and I was like, Ukraine scoring 4 goals. And it put me into some tough spots where I ended up overthinking a 2v2 pivot, which would have still gotten me into cash. I had Lukaku and Thomas Delaney, who I didn't even like Thomas Delaney that much, so I'm not really sure why I put stock into his floor. Or Memphis Depay and Yannick Vestergaard, who was 2,500. I thought that Thomas Vermaelen would end up playing, so I had Depay and Vermaelen. For some reason, I just looked at it, and one thing I was discussing with Storm, so this is sounds like a different thought, but it all comes back, is when you get these 2v2s, I think I really highly encourage, and it's something I'm making myself do. Okay, I'm going to make myself pause, whether I'm on the road or if I'm at home. Just pause. You got an hour, right? Once the lineups come out, pause and write down what you project somebody's floor to be to their ceiling and what you project at the other guys. So you want to put together, all right, here's this 2v2's floor, right? So it's 13 DK. And the other 2v2's floor is 10 DK. Okay, well, we have a significant difference there. Now let's look at their ceilings. And then write down what you think their ceilings are going to be. And now make an honest valuation. So the funniest thing about today's, and the reason I'm bringing that up, I had Lukaku has about a 4 to 5 DK floor. He showed his floor is actually 0. But I put 4 to 5. Memphis Depay is being 10. Both having a ceiling around 24 is what I put. You know, they could obviously go past that, but if I have a hard time giving somebody more than a 2-goal ceiling. And then for floor, and so you have a 6 DK difference there in floor, right? Well, for Thomas Delaney, I said his floor was 3, ceiling was 6 or 7. Vestergaard, I had 1 to 5. All right, well, if you write that down, the ceilings of those two 2v2s is about the same, yet the floors are significantly different. Yeah, I chose the wrong one. I missed cash. I deserve to miss cash for that reason. So it's a learning experience so many times, and then I'll get to the picks, I promise. I'm just venting it out. Whatever. It's my show. I can do it, right? But so many times, when we lose, we just want to play the blame game instead of just taking the blame on your own decision and that your own thing that you could control. So, stopping, freezing, making that exercise, right? Making sure that you understand where the mistake was made, and then spending some time to look at what everybody else was doing. My biggest issue today was not just this one 2v2. Yes, that 2v2 could have got me to cash, but realistically, playing Yaremchuk in cash and forcing 3 high-priced Ukrainian guys, when a guy like Denzel Dumfries, who I loved, highlighted last night, was available and could have been a more balanced build, fit Memphis easily, still got Courtois, all those things, that made the most sense. So, all right, enough ranting. Let's go into Friday's slate. I'm going to do my best to remember all the formations, the odds. I will be editing this and getting you guys the SofaScore formations up. But just a quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment, all really does help. All right, first game of the day is Sweden hosting Slovakia. Sweden versus Slovakia. Sweden is a favorite here. Sweden got the bad luck of playing Spain the first game and honestly played defensively stout and limited Spain's chances. It doesn't look like it, right? They gave away possession, but that was Sweden's tactics in this game, and it worked. They got away with a point, and now they're probably in very good shape to advance as a result. They need to win here. They are favored, and I do think that, we have some really good options from Sweden. From a floor perspective, we want to target. The set piece situations are going to be 2 guys that I really do want. Emil Forsberg took almost all the sets in the last friendly. Now, Sweden's sets across the years have actually been kind of weird and tough. Forsberg has been the longest taker. Augustinsson went in the last World Cup. Those 2 split. Every once in a while, Sebastian Larsson will jump in and take sets. Now, he played terrible in the last friendly, even missed a PK. So we'll see if he's out of favor. Big news is that Kulusevski, their stud player for Juventus, he is not playing tomorrow. So up top, it's going to be Marcus Berg and Alexander Isak. Both are fine players, but neither of them really have a floor. They're more going to be GPP plays that you target. One, if you think, Sweden maybe scores 2 goals here, or if you just want to kind of be different from the pack. Of the two, I think Isak was just awesome for Real Sociedad in La Liga this year. Almost scored versus Spain. It was the more lively of the two. So I think he would be the option. Your other guys are all kind of just more GPP. Lustig as a right back is okay. Then Olsen, I think, is in play. Sweden's always been known for a stout defense. And then, Slovakia isn't exactly a lineup that's going to bother them. For the Slovakia side of things, Robert Mach took both PKs. Also, kind of sort of scored the goal. It was ruled an own goal. But outside of that, and this is kind of like standard for Robert Mach, he gets a shot or two, a couple crosses, and that's it. So without a goal or an assist, his floor is kind of suspect. Additionally, because there was only 2 corners, I guess we don't know for certain that he's not going to be taking over Hamšík, who plays as a 10, is the Slovakia legend. So I kind of am just in the mindset that I'm going to fade Slovakia here. Like from the top end plays. I just think I'm going to fade. I am blanking on his name, and I'm embarrassed. That's the problem sometimes of doing these car shows, is when I don't have the name. But I really am interested in the right midfielder. It'll be up here. He plays at Sassuolo. A really good player. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but he showed up like 7 DK last game. He draws fouls. He could actually take some set pieces too. We can't like fully exonerate him from the set piece situation. So I think those three those 3 midfielders are all interesting, and that's probably about it. Their fullbacks don't really press forward a ton. Skinner was great. He was phenomenal on FanDuel too, with all the clearances. Then obviously had the goal in the set piece, but outside of him, he's just a GPP play. I think there's some really good fullbacks in this slate, and I definitely do not want to burn a defense spot, especially with where they're priced. I think that's one of the biggest things on the slate, is that the defenders are priced really, really well and really, really fairly, where I want a piece. So that is the first game. Let's go to the second game, which is Croatia and Czech Republic. Croatia is just a slight favorite here. Croatia is another team that played really well the first game, and now just needs to get a result here very badly. I think one of the locks in the slate, he's to cover this article, is Luka Modric. Cover this video. And I say that, and I'm actually, he might not be. I might decide it's Harry Kane by the end. Harry Kane is a guy that I'm definitely going to be targeting. We'll get there in a minute. But Luka Modric for Croatia is a much different Luka Modric than you get for Real Madrid. We know the last World Cup, when Croatia got to the final, it propelled Luka Modric to win the Ballon d'Or. He was that good for Croatia. Takes all their set pieces, takes their PKs. It's the center of everything that they do. Versus England in a game where they didn't have much of the ball, and they were, for all intents and purposes, pretty well outplayed. He still got the 10 DK. I think there's a really good shot that's probably his floor here. And at sub 8K, I just don't see a way around it. So Luka Modric's going to be a core play for me. The rest of Croatia, I like the fullbacks. Whether it's Barisic on the left, it should definitely be Semi Versalco on the right. I got to watch a little bit of the game, and every single time I swear that I saw that game, Semi Versalco would get on the right and just swing it across. And when I think of Semi Versalco, that's exactly what I think, whether it was his Inter days, whether it's his Atletico Madrid days. When he gets the ball on the right, he's going to cross it. So he's a fullback I really like under sub 5K. Outside of him, I think you could make an argument for so many of these different Croatia guys in cash, but I don't necessarily know if any of them are optimal cash plays. Like Perisic, nice player, always pretty active. Kramaric, if you play Bundesliga's DFS, you probably know him as one of the best plays in Bundesliga. Now, obviously, with Modric, he doesn't have the same role as he does for his club, as he does for Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga, but obviously he's a great player. Rebic plays for Milan, good player. And then, whoever else they start on the right, I think that we could see a lineup change here. Who knows? They could even bring in Kovacic and let Modric play up as the 10. That's sometimes what happens. So, we'll just have to see that lineup. I don't necessarily think we're going to be locking a ton from Sweden and from from Sweden and Slovakia, where we're not going to have the ability for freedom. Like, you're playing Modric, whether he plays as a deep lying 6 or if he plays as a 10. It's more of, can you maybe make the argument to play some other players if Modric is further forward? I think that wraps up for Croatia. I do think from a value perspective, if you want to go with Brozovic, that was about the worst game he could have versus England. Brozovic is a class player. He will not take any set pieces for Croatia, but, he is very good. Should get a very solid amount of passing. It's going to be a line I want to look at when prizepicks comes out. Brozovic is a guy I have my eye on. And then, I think that covers Croatia. For Czech Republic, there's nothing. This is similar to Slovakia. I just don't, you have Junko and you have Dorita will split set pieces. They split them pretty evenly. They're both fairly active, but without a goal or assist, neither one of them you could reasonably project for double digits. So I'm just not really going to target them. I just think that there's going to be better plays. Like, I prefer Forsberg, I prefer Modric. You have to make room here for some version of England. I'm going to get to it in a minute, but I think my way of getting England exposure is going to be through Harry Kane. I'm not going to learn my Lukaku lesson, but I do think Harry Kane, unlike Lukaku, actually has like a really good shot floor. So I'm not necessarily too nervous about locking him in, especially as the biggest favorite on the slate. Patrick Schick, I'm sure will get some popularity in GPP. I do think Croatia can be a very, very stout defensive squad, unlike Scotland. So I don't think I can go out of my way for Schick here. And just nothing else really, really impressed me from Slovakia. All right, final game, England versus Scotland. Let's just get this out of the way. I'm going to go to the Scotland side first. There's like one play from a cash or optimal perspective you could consider, and I don't know if it's the right play, which is Andy Robertson. He's been even with Ryan Christie on, I thought that would cause a split. Andy Robertson was taking everything. So a set-taking wingback is normally a player that we love. I just don't know how much of the ball Scotland's going to have here. England's minus 300, and I think that England is just going to pound Scotland. Not just like, I don't necessarily mean it's going to be like 6 or 7-0. I just think there's a good chance that England just controls the hell out of the ball and keeps Scotland so deep that I really worry about how many times that Andy Robertson's going to be able to go marauding forward. I think he's going to be pinned back really very much, and he's a fade for me. From the England side, what we saw versus Croatia, which obviously is a much superior team, is that England can be fairly dominant and still be really bad for DFS. They had one corner, which was taken by Mason Mount. I still think that Mason Mount and Phil Foden will likely be on a split, but we also have to worry, like, England is so loaded. I think that there is reason to be worried that outside of like Harry Kane, who is going to be in, I kind of wonder if Mason Mount has almost earned his stripes at this point, where he's kind of a lock. But I think Harry Kane, like Trippier, and like John Stones and Jordan Pickford, and then probably Declan. As I'm like going through the lineup, I'm like seeing how many locks there are. Probably Declan Rice is a lock to play. Harry Kane would be a lock to play. It's sad to say, but I feel like Trippier is like a lock to play under Southgate. He just loves the guy. John Stones should play. Pickford should play. And then after the first game, I'd really hope that Calvin Phillips is a lock. He was so good. But that's about it. Like, you could see Sterling, you could see Foden, you could see Mount, you could see. I'm sure. I know I'm missing somebody that I'm blanking on, but you can see so many of those attackers rotate out. They're just so deep. They have so many mouths to feed, so many good players that I'm sure Southgate wants to get run. I'm not sure any of them will start. So with that in mind, I kind of just want to play Harry Kane, and then maybe for like a hedge, right? You could play Trippier. Obviously, he's going to be a popular fullback on a big favorite team that has a chance at sets. I don't know if he'll take him, but I think he has a chance at sets. But, maybe it's like the good old, like what we used to do in the EPL, Blenderhead. I think, I never really did too much, but it still makes sense, which is, for the whole city roulette, rather than playing the roulette wheel, you play like Sergio Aguero, and then you play Ederson. So that the thought being, they'll be so dominant. your goalkeeper is quote unquote guaranteed double digits, you know, the clean sheet and the win, and you get a goal out of the goalie, and that becomes your exposure. I think that idea makes some sense here. Just because England is very, very ball dominant. Scotland can struggle to score. And England's defense is very good. So I think that's just kind of my route from England and Scotland. Hope that covers that well. Let me just round this out by giving you what my core is. It's going to be at the forward position, Harry Kane. At midfield position, Luka Modric. And then I didn't really cover Sweden, as I'm saying it, like, enough, but Ludwig Augustinsson, see if I said that right, set-taking fullback. He is incredibly cross-oriented. I really like him here from Sweden. I think he's 5,400. So that's going to be a guy I'm targeting too. So Kane, Modric, Augustinsson is your core. Stay tuned. I hope all you guys are following me on Twitter at GatorGuy231, where I will post prize picks either later tonight or tomorrow morning once the full board is out and I can find my favorite pick. We had another one today. You know, I joked with somebody posted on Twitter. We got lucky with that Munir shot on goal from like the 93rd minute from midfield. Yes, we did, but this is just, the joke won't even come out. You know, it was in my projections. No, it wasn't. Like, I think sometimes we just got to get lucky. Was very, very happy that he got over by that, and let's just keep it rolling on prize picks and on DraftKings. And with that, that'll do it. My name's Keith. I go by GatorGuy231 across the DFS industry. Good luck tomorrow. See ya!